Sir, thank you very much for your time. Now, I request you to deliver your talk through my phone and the this Zoom platform.
Okay. Thank you, Google. Thank you so much.
I'm sure you all are able to listen him now.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello?
You are audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Google, and very good evening to all of my friends and colleagues and students here, and very good morning to Andrew McLuhan. In fact, I was feeling very excited to be amongst you to this online conference. But as Dr. Rubal might have told you, that there were certain technical hitches. So I was reminded of Shannon Weaver model when we were studying that what are different kinds of disruptions when we communicate with each other. And one of that was he used to refer was technical error. So this is a technical hitch which is prohibiting me to be in front of you and talking to you straight in a video manner. But there are some difficulties, so I'm compelled to speak through my phone, and I hope that I will be able to do some justice to so, because my gestures won't be available, my expressions won't be available, which are very fundamental in a teaching process. But anyway, we have to compromise under certain conditions. So anyway, in fact, I was just considering about this topic. That was decided by you, which other by you, that beyond media literacy. In fact, I was just thinking that before talking about media literacy, it would be better in the prevailing circumstances where we see our traditional mainstream media, particularly TV channels, what harm they are doing to the system, to the relevance and to the high profile and very esteemed the status which the media, which the press has attained and known as the fourth estate. So I think the status, the image and the dignity of this fourth estate has been lowered to the abysmal level because of what we have been seeing on television, particularly during the elections and during the recent farmers movement. Anyway, so I would rather, in future, if I find some time, I would like to talk about media illiteracy before talking about the media literacy. So anyway, by talking about this subject, so there are three keywords in this topic: that beyond media and literacy. So in fact, when I was going through some literature on Google and certain other platforms in some other books, so I found that literacy is rated as a very kind of a word which refers to taking away from the antiquated models of teaching in classrooms, traditional system of teaching, and this refers to that. So my question to all of my friends will be, or is at the moment, that possible to talk about media literacy as a concept, and then talking about beyond media literacy, is it viable to talk and to discuss this concept with our students in classrooms? Because we have been finding in my university, we are getting students from remote areas and villages and all that. So I don't think that it is possible, or we can think of talking about media literacy in classrooms or in seminars or in conferences. I think that we need to have some special exclusive training workshops talk about this very important cardinal principle of acquiring more and more significance, particularly when this thing has been highlighted during the farmers' movement. That media, a certain major chunk of the mainstream media, they have been crying hoarse and barking like dogs and, like street dogs and like stray dogs, ignoring the dignity of this force and state. And when we watch that their bosses in the corporate sector and the political portfolios, we have been finding that how do they subjugate themselves and to those mighty forces. And this is because of, I think, this is my perception, I may be wrong, that this is because of lack of training of media literacy to them. Okay? And before that, I think they are not trained even academically. What we talk of literacy, they are not even trained at the academic level in the universities and in the colleges when we have been students and studying certain books and all that. I don't think these people have gone through or studied any kind of material which talks about the ethics and moral values of this very pious and noble profession of journalism and mass communication. So what do I feel is that this aspect of media literacy has to be, taken into consideration from two aspects. One is media literacy for the audience, and second is media literacy for the journalist or for the media persons. And when I specifically talk about the farmers movement, so this has generated quite, even including me, I think they have generated a certain kind of social awareness about, at least about the agriculture products and all that, their marketing, and even I did not, used to understand this concept of MSP for this movement. And our farm leaders, they have behaved in a very intelligent manner, and that is the reason basically that the mighty government was thrown on the back foot. So this concept, in fact, is very important to be taught. In fact, we all the vice chancellors and all the high level academicians, they have been talking about change of course curriculum, every year. But I find, despite my best efforts, I have not been able to convince my colleagues in my department, in my center, that they should, they have to adapt themselves to the newly emerging trends in mass communication. And I have seen even certain senior professors in mass communication that they are referring to certain things which have just become obsolete. And they are referring they are referring to those outdated models. No, those things, for example, when we talk about hypothetical model, or when we talk about Berenson's model and two-step flow theory and ATX model and all, these things are quite difficult. But in fact, I think they are either unaware of new developments which are happening in the theory and the research of mass communication. They don't want to study, they don't want to adapt themselves to the newly changing trends in the mass communication and, the outcomes or the findings of research at the global level. Because they will have to study and then, it becomes very difficult. As we have been talking yesterday or day before, that there are tendency among the teachers to first read and then communicate. That thing is vanishing. Or at least, I'm not talking about all the teachers, but majority of the teachers, they remain just complacent with what was being taught by them 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and they are referring to the same course and all that. So basically, I think, first of all, we have to think about, when we talk about literacy, for example, so it is a very general term to my mind. In fact, when we talk about literacy, we have to take into account, when we talk of India, for example, I mean, we cannot compare Canada with India or America with India as far as the literacy rate is concerned in actuality. So the government, forward that there is 87% literacy rate in the urban areas and 70% in the rural areas. But can you imagine this kind of falsehood which is being spread? I mean, when you watch on television, even I have been to UK during last election and all that. Then I was talking to certain people, certain women. They do not know anything about what is happening around them. They are just satisfied or contented if they are getting just 200 rupees or 500 rupees a month. They say it's okay. I mean, we are getting food, we are getting basic amenities which are sufficient according to their requirements. So basically, when we talk of this concept of beyond media literacy, so first I think we have to talk about literacy. First we have to talk about literacy and then media literacy, and then we have to go beyond media literacy. In fact, I think we are falling short of media literacy. So, in fact, these some of the very good social channels which we are on, witness to, that they have played a very good role during this farmers' educational movement. Have certain YouTube channels or social media channels or is not been available, I think this movement has failed. So they have risen to the occasion to help, and even if some of us, if we have watched what those farm leaders, they have been talking about some channels, social media channels. So they said, had you not been there, we would have failed. So in fact, we have taken this concept of media literacy from many angles. From the mainstream media, from the social media, from the literate media person, from the illiterate media person, from the semi-literate person, and similarly, when we talk of we have to take the last I would like to say that we have to take into account the demographic level and the psychographic variables of the audience when we talk of the research on this very particular subject. Because these talks and discourses by certain political leaders, they have widened certain gaps. May it be digital divide, may it be economic divide, may it be social divide, may it be cultural divide. These have been deepened further. And when we listen to our leaders, they are talking about election. That even I was listening to our Prime Minister saying yesterday that he was talking all about the Muslim rulers. How those things have gone. So now we have to concentrate on the present circumstances, present situation, present condition. I mean, no leader from any party, they are not talking about the development issues. They are not talking about something positive which is happening. They are all talking bullshit and talking about negativity and dividing the people into different castes, into different religions, into different races, and trying to use all these things to cash and to cash in on and just garner votes for themselves so that they can form government or reform government. So my idea basically is that we have to talk about this subject in very depth to know what literacy means, what media literacy means, and when we understand these two concepts, and then we have to study these concepts. If you talk about Canada or America or Russia or other developed countries, and when we compare them to India, so do we think that we are at the same level? So, I mean, a lot of discussion is required to be done on this area before we arrive.
True, sir. True, sir.